pretty much on 120th page, so it's very few pages remaining, well, halfway through mostly. God has ordained no one. It is people themselves who build a false sense of self-importance by claiming that their work is divinely ordained. If they learn to plunge into something that does not mean anything to them with absolute involvement, they would find their karma disintegrating in no time. Immerse oneself in the journey and not to be anxious about the destination. But the question is this: if all these benefits were not there, would we still work with the same intensity and involvement? That's something that we need to ask. Whenever you perform an action without expectation, your experience of life will be qualitatively different from the times when you perform it with expectations. During the football match, during any games, when you perform an action without expectation, your experience of life will be qualitatively different from the times when you perform it with expectations. Once again, it's the game that you enjoy most, not if you would know the result of the game, would you still want to watch the game? Obviously, no. So, most likely, the process, the game, is what we enjoy most. If you are very happy playing the game, the result does not really matter. Above all, a game is only won only when you play it well, not because you desire to win. This is something to remember in our life, that if you are very happy playing the game, the result does not really matter. Above all, a game is won only when you play it well, not because you desire to win. Both teams desire to win, anyways, but who does better wins. But again, you enjoy the process, either whether you win or you lose. I think people who watches has that anxiety to see it through, and of course support the favorite teams, so on and so forth. Many of them worked full time to look after their families, to make sure everyone was fed and clothed and loved, without thinking for a moment about what was right in front of them. Unfortunately, we have devalued the contribution of these generations of using it. If you simply enjoy what you do and work it wholeheartedly, there is no question of suffering at all. You would work joyfully and your ability to work would be hugely enhanced. Repeating a spiritual truth without an inner experience of it, it's a futile exercise. It will not transform your life in any way. If you saw your life as an expression of your happiness rather than a pursuit of it, you would find you have made a significant paradigm shift. You would effortlessly immerse yourself in whether you are doing it or whatever you are doing it without an expectation, for the pure joy of the activity. When I say serve, I mean an act of immersion. Most people want to rule the world. It is just that because they are half-heartedly, they're it, just because they're half-hearted, they end up only ruling their own households. Have one pointed focus on where you want to head in your life. Act with tremendous intensity. Immersed in work knows the true meaning of the rest. Immersed in work knows the true meaning of the rest. Only if you have known intense action, you will know the bliss of inaction. The power to rule is not to real power because it can be taken away at any moment. The power that we are talking about is a power that cannot be taken away. It applies to many corporate leaders in the industry who stepped on many people around and got the power, and then when it is taken away, and then they lose their sense of worth because their dependency, their actions truly depends on the power. So if you take away the power, what remains is basically the emptiness. You don't have to stop working to be liberated from action. It will happen anyways. You don't have to do anything about it. Karma has to be worked out, but engaging with action with a great involvement and intensity without caring about who to fit, the most effective way to rule out karma. Hmm. Giving up something for something else is a commerce, giving up something for nothing is a sacrifice. Your very life process is an offering. Even if a small percent of the world population becomes a meditative, many reap the benefits. A single mango tree can offer a fruit to 100 people. When your life becomes an egna, thousands of people can reap its benefits. Many individuals have done this for ages. I come from a land of a sacrifice, and I know the bliss of a sacrifice far exceeds the pleasures of the world. But once you taste the deeper joy, then this becomes very childish. Think of all the unexpected things that happen on a daily basis that are not in your control. Often, if the left eye appears slightly smaller than the right, you can be quite certain that they have been going through some emotional distress in the past 6 months. Not every muscle is equally strong or capable. This again is because of the karma creates its own structure. As we have seen earlier, for every sensation there is a mental fluctuation and then corresponding chemical reaction. The same process also works in reverse. Your physical structure, constitution, and the general health are decided by the restlessness or relentless process. This explains the enormous care brought into the practice of asanas, pranayama, physical postures, and breathing processes in yoga. Intelligence will decide the volume of the stock you should handle in this lifetime. Increased possibility times when changes in life direction often happens. Later you will walk hands free, there is nothing to carry, and your life becomes beautiful. Physical, mental, emotional, and meditative places is something that you should focus. Most people can't sit still if they don't first go through some intense activity. The aim is to burn up your allotment and then enjoy the delights of the traveling. Stress is caused when people try to run their life engine without adequate lubrication. This is something that we really need to think. Stress is caused when people try to run their life engine without adequate lubrication. People's systems grow confused because the information within them says one thing, but their life event says another. Learning to live in a gratitude is extremely important because it creates the right attitude. Learning to live in a gratitude is extremely important because it creates the right attitude. It does not matter whether you are in a palace or a hut, you will be the same person. Wherever you are, you do the same thing. When you maintain this equanimity, you will see that situation around you keep getting better and better. There is one sadhana he recommends. Close your eyes, raise your hand in front of you on the level of the face, and gently stretch the muscles in your hand without necessarily moving mechanically. You will notice a lot of sensation. Watch the sensations as keenly as you can. Stretch hand fully, become aware of twitch every single muscle in your hand. Only when you experience the toothache or a backache do they suddenly become aware of the body. The rest of the time, although the body is there, it is inhibited unconsciously. It's very true. Well, it's getting a little dark, and let's continue this to read tomorrow a couple of pages. So we pretty much completed 138 pages of the highlights which I had mentioned and keep mentioning. It's a wonderful book, and uh, if you can pick up and read, and I'm telling you, it can tremendously can help you to or serve you as a reminder on what we need to do and wherever the situation, wherever the life you are at this point of time. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, and then have a great weekend. And talk to you guys tomorrow. Thank you.